Now, Joe Biden doesn't want to call the crisis at the southern border a crisis. At best, his people call it a challenge. But here's a little inconvenient truth. It is such a mess that the Biden team had to dispatch FEMA down there to help. That is the Federal Emergency Management Agency. They get called out when there is a disaster. A disaster. But Jen Psaki, the White House mouthpiece, says they got it all under control. That's like saying that the landing of the Hindenburg was pretty smooth. Or that the Titanic voyage was overall a great cruise except for that one little bump. Or that Hurricane Katrina was like a great big water park. Why is it so hard for them to admit that what they have done on the southern border is an all-hands-on-deck Cat 5 disaster, and it was created because in their arrogance, they decided to immediately reverse the successful policies of the previous administration? I mean, they took Minnie Pearl's motto of, "Y'all come," as their message. And by the thousands, they have come. And many of them, this is tragic, are unaccompanied children. And there are so many of them that little storage units that are being used are housing children. And there are 1,800 of those children in a facility that has a capacity of 250. Kids are only getting one shower a week, living in conditions that certainly don't allow for social distancing, and they aren't getting COVID tests much. And when they do, and they test positive, they're still allowed in the country without a mask. Although 4-year-old Carter Kimball, an autistic boy from Benton, Arkansas, got removed from a Spirit Airlines flight just this past week because he didn't have a mask, even though he had a medical note indicating that he couldn't wear a mask because of his autism, as it caused him to have a meltdown. And then John Kerry, he was on a plane this week without a mask. So here's the deal. Illegal immigrants can cross the border without a mask. So here's what you do. If you're told somewhere in the country to wear a mask, just tell them that you're an illegal alien and that your name is John Kerry. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Now, reporters and even congressmen are not being allowed to see firsthand the condition for these kids on the border. And there isn't even a gag order that's placed on government officials down there. And when pushed about the lack of the promised transparency, Jen Psaki said that the White House had some information and that reporters could come by and some government officials would be glad to describe it to them. Did you get that? What? I mean, the only thing more amazing than a North Korean-style press propaganda operation is that almost all of the press corps seemed to think that was okay for an answer. By the way, Joe Biden will finally hold his first press conference next week, but reporters have to apply and be picked to ask a question. I suppose that's so President Biden can have his answer scripted out and placed in his trusty teleprompter. Let's hope at least one reporter can sneak in some real questions. You know, the kind the press ought to be asking of an administration that can't see the crisis that everybody else can see. I mean, Joe Biden is turning America into a place where churches are locked down, but borders are wide open, where we kill thousands of high-paying jobs on a pipeline in order to get those people on a government rescue plan that their grandkids are going to have to pay for, where we've got people in Hollywood wanting to cancel Pepe Le Pew and Dr. Seuss, but they give awards for pornographic performances of rap artists like Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion on the Grammys that are so adult that the lyrics had to be totally changed and the costumes should have been changed, or at least covered up. In the meantime, the Biden bunch is covering stuff up, mostly just the truth about what's happening on the border. Now, if you want more videos like that one, hit the subscribe button below and the notification bell right next to it. And if you leave a comment, positive or negative, I'll be sure that my dog Toby sees it and responds to you in kind.